What's that movie? It's one of my favorite movies and
Enough,
only movie.
Gone Girl.
Yes, enough.
I'm so
Enough.
good. I have nothing to go off
Not
of
you,
there.
Chrissy.
Enough.
Oh, it's similar. It's similar though.
That was the best.
Eat
That
it.
was the best.
Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books, sweet hearts, we grow.
Welcome back to the finale of The Housemaid. It was an interesting ride. The end, I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah, it threw me a little bit. I was surprised.
I was on hand that I thought it was a little anticlimactic.
It went very fast.
Yeah, they did. It was like the meat of it in just like a couple chapters. Really, this whole part 3, like everything kind of comes full circle in those like 50
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
really, I
actually,
think we have to remember, we take so long to read this because we're reading it this way. Whereas if we probably read it all in like one sitting, like we typically would, it probably wouldn't feel.
no, I think that whole first section was a little like too detailed for nothing going on other than crazy shit.
But it does tie in.
Yeah,
It
and
does.
it builds up everything.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
does
know,
tie in, but notice that it only took like 2 chapters to tie it all in when it was like 30 chapters to
but
get there.
would be boring if we weren't thrown around a little bit. We had a couple theories here and there.
Very true.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I do think it would be a different feel if we just read straight through it because this is like a 1 day, maybe 2 day book and not a month.
Yeah, I will say I read this last section how I like to read versus how I've been trying to read for this platform.
Okay, Ashley, you need to put a
it's much
positive
faster.
back. Yeah.
No, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, I'm not as negative about it today, other than it just wasn't as exciting
You
as I
sound like
anticipated.
it so far.
Well, I'm sick, so leave me be.
Okay, I think let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
All right. Rapid recap, or should we just get into the sections?
I prepared a rapid recap, so I will go for it. Okay. Hopefully it's rapid. I watched one of our videos and I could see you guys' faces like, oh my God, is the rapid recap going to be done yet? No. So
No.
unaware in the moment.
Was that in the Crucible ones?
I have no idea. I actually think it might have been.
I think it's more we don't know what to do. Not that we're.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you guys to react with your faces and smile. Okay?
Which
All right,
will be theatrical.
All right. Andrew has finally had it with Nina because she accuses Millie of stealing her dress and goes crazy. And he says it's over and he kicks her out. And Andrew and Millie don't skip a beat. They go cozy up in bed and then they're like talking about their future together. Like that didn't just happen. Andrew decides, I hate Enzo. I'm going to fire him. And Enzo's like, peace, I'm out. And before he leaves, he grabs Millie and says, Millie, you are in danger. And she's like, you speak English this whole time? Millie decides she's going to go up in the attic and get her stuff. And Andrew finds her up there. And they decide to spend the night in the tiny attic, in the tiny cot. And when she wakes up, she is locked in there. So here we go. That's where we left Millie. And we skip over to part 2. Nina was the victim of this abuse and gaslighting for 7 years before Millie came into the picture. In the beginning of part 2, she walks us through her history and her guide, How to Get Rid of Your Sadistic Evil Husband. And we find out that Enzo knew about something going on with Nina. And what he's trying to do is warn Millie about Andrew. She didn't pick up on it. Now she's stuck in the attic. That was the rapid recap from last week.
Nice.
I support it.
Lots of craziness. Ready to figure out what the heck's happening with Millie. they
Yeah.
dropped us on quite a cliffhanger there.
Kind of was like, okay, all right. So are we going to get back to her at some point? Like, what's happening? Something has to be
Yeah.
happening here. And also, I still wanted to find out what she did to be in jail because I thought Nina was about to tell us in the last section, or like in one of the first chapters. I thought she was going to tell us, and she didn't.
Yeah.
In my section, I thought she was going to tell us.
Yeah, I do love when we do find out the whole thread of
Right.
all the issues tying into now this and then the end. So
I did like how all that culminates.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want me to go ahead and go into the first section that we split it into?
Hey, let's start, Christy, with your chapters.
Okay. We kick it off at chapter 47. And Nina, I guess she's just like used to this now. She's just like, well, I'm in the attic. I've been in the attic for a day. I spray too much air freshener in the house, and Andrew's making me sit up here with my eyes wide open and pepper spray myself. While she's up there reminiscing, she lets us know that she secretly got a back alley IUD when Andrew told her he wanted more babies. She's like, I'm not giving this man any babies. So
I support that so hard when I read that. I was like,
oh, me too.
yes.
I was like, brilliant, So I liked that. Nina is up there and like dealing with this, and Enzo sees her through the window. He doesn't know what's going on really. She just told him that my husband is crazy. He locks me in the attic and tortures me. And so Enzo sees Nina in the attic from the tiny window and marches his happy ass up the stairs to go try to bust her out. And she's like, you cannot do this. You're going to make it worse. Like, I have to worry about what's going to happen to Cece if this all pans out. So she's like, don't do it. Just leave me be. And yeah, she goes out and decides to talk to him. Wait, oh, I was not looking at the chapter of the book, so I was like, dude, was that all? Because I think at the end of it is where she just tells him the whole story. So she tells him everything, and he decides that he's going to try to help her, and they start to try to like plot her escape, which will not be easy.
No. Yeah, I liked this. Obviously, we start finding out more about Enzo, which we've been waiting for, which we'll find more out. But this is like the first where he's speaking English, and she's like, "Oh, you listened to me?" Like, I definitely.
That's one of my
told you
favorite
the
parts
whole
of like, I
time.
think it's the next chapter.
Oh, is it?
No.
I thought it was this.
Oh, so
where,
no, I was
like-
going to say one of my favorite parts is in the next chapter
Oh.
because he says like he does it so none of the women bother him.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
pretends he can't speak English, so all that the bored
Uh-huh.
housewives will leave him alone. Like
Yep.
that.
And then think back to like Millie literally throwing herself out at him in like week 1.
He's like, I don't speak English. You're crazy.
Yeah.
That was not a good Italian accent. I'm sorry for everybody that is Italian. That was bad.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need to go over anything else in 47? I know I was not super detailed, but that was the gist of it. Okay. All right, chapter 48. We're on step 7 of her guide to get rid of your crazy husband, and it is try to escape. So Nina decides she's going to go meet Enzo at his apartment, and he lets her know like that he could tell Andrew was bad from the get-go. He just had a bad feeling about him. We get that whole why do you pretend you can't speak English? And that's where he says to keep all the housewives off of me, he shares that he's from Sicily, and that tattoo, if you remember, with Antonia in it, that's his sister, who also had a bad husband, as he calls him, but an abusive husband who ended up shoving her down the stairs, and she never woke up from that. So he killed her. And Enzo had to kind of flee the country because he didn't kill him. He must have gotten close, but he did not kill him. So he would be Dunzo. Enzo would be Dunzo if he went back to Sicily. Yeah, I'm cute. Anyways, so they kind of start talking about what they need to do. Nina needs to get some money together, and is going to need an identity, right? And from there, what happens is that Andrew immediately finds her safety deposit box stash. So it's like just a few days after she met with Enzo about getting that all together, she goes home and he's just sitting there with it. Like, talk about shitting your pants. With all the threats he's made if she tried to leave him. And he tries to be like, I'm going to take you upstairs, and she bolts, which, like, we don't really ever hear the repercussions of that. She just runs out of the house. And in her mind, she's like, well, there's still another safety deposit box. And so when she leaves the house, she goes to Enzo's and she's like, I have a new plan. She doesn't tell you yet, but she has a new plan.
Pretty shitty plan.
Yeah.
It is, I
very
didn't say
disappointing.
bad. It's a good plan, but she's a shit person for the plan. But she's trying to get out of a shit situation. So I don't know, a situation. I don't know if there's a better option for her. You got anything else? We
where did
are
we
coming
stop?
back from some
Oh, yeah.
technical difficulties.
I don't even know what chapter we're on anymore.
Okay, so we just ended chapter 48, just for your information. And that's when Nina has her brilliant idea because her plans to escape
Yes.
failed. And so that was step 7, try to escape. So now she's going to move on to step 8, find a replacement. She knows that she needs to find a beautiful young woman, somebody who can likely reproduce and is easy on the eyes and also desperate. And she wants this woman to woo Andrew out of her life. And that's when she meets Wilhelmina Calloway.
What a name.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yeah. She checks all the marks and she has a criminal record. So it's like gold mine. And Enzo is not on board to put somebody else in the same position Nina's been in. He apparently knows a PI, which that one of you guys said you thought he was a detective or a PI. He knows one though. He isn't one
He
as far as we
knows
know.
one, but
But he knows one.
Hannah's theory was closer.
Yeah.
I got the
So-
sister, the name being the sister, but Hannah called no, he's just the nosy gardener.
Yep, good job. But Nina learned from that PI that Millie was fired from her job and living in her car. She was fired for violence. And so she starts just like, she doesn't think she's going to convince Andrew to take a maid because obviously he can't be as sadistic if there's a stranger living in the house. But she just starts like leaving the house a complete mess and stops cooking. It's just like, I have a migraine all the time. And she's like, okay, I do this. Maybe he'll be more agreeable to maid. He's mad that she brings him in, said he's going to fire her. Super pissed that she put her in the attic. Like, that's my torture room. What the fuck are you doing?
No, and you said that's your room.
Yeah,
Like,
he did
no,
say
he did
that's
not.
your room. Yeah.
He's such a douche.
And he's like, I'm going to fire her. And I thought it was so funny. Nina's like, he didn't fire her. He came home to a clean house and a home cooked meal and didn't say another word about it. So she starts setting up the situation to make Millie hate her. So all these crazy things tying back from the beginning of the book, her saying she destroyed her notes for her PTA meeting. We get to hear her side of how painful it was to like throw all the milk on the ground and break all the dishes. Like she didn't want to be doing this, but she needed Millie to hate her. And we go through that. She's winning, getting like checking all the marks. We find out that Nina blackmailed the doctor, the fertility specialist that they went to see, to tell Andrew that she can't get pregnant. So she went to major leagues there. And she then called his mother and said, can you send us a box of Andrew's baby things to torment him? Petty level 100. And she knew, like, she called that Andrew was going to buy her tickets to that show. And this is where she's setting up her situation. It was like, she had 3 steps, and one was like, make sure they're attracted to each other. And then it was like, make her hate me. And then
Get them
alone.
environment.
Yeah, give them an opportunity. And so, her plot works. She knows what they did, and she sees him fall for Millie, and she's like, peace. That's that chapter.
I mean, as fucked up as it is, still have to give her props because she's just like puppet mastering this whole thing, and it worked flawlessly.
Right. It did.
Like such a man. Predictable.
However much time this was, she didn't have to deal with Andrew's shit. She didn't get locked in the attic. She couldn't.
And honestly, Millie was fine until obviously now, but like the beginning part, she was fine.
She was like, she is desperate, just like Nina was looking for. She found somebody who's not going to run away by her crazy. Very
Which
well thought out
yeah.
plan. So we were right about Andrew being evil and being
Mhm.
what's behind this. But I don't think that we called that Nina was a mastermind and like this manipulating factor that was
Yeah, I think
pushing
we
all
only
of
kind of
things to
like
happen.
threw it out in the beginning, like
Yeah.
maybe she's
Yeah.
really not crazy because like who is really that crazy? Like
Yeah.
it's just like
I was more thinking he was still drugging her somehow.
Yeah. I
Or
mean,
like
if
she
she's
was
taking the
definitely thought-
medication.
yeah.
Yeah, like she was like somehow emotionally manipulated in that kind of way.
No, she's just playing crazy.
Yeah. She's like, I'm getting out of here.
Good job.
Survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did a really good job. She's
I
a
can't
data.
say I
She
would
should
do
probably go
anything
beyond
different
Broadway.
if I were in that situation. Like,
I
sorry.
figured this out.
Like I'm not Jesus. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could do that, but
If it was between like me and my child, I think the child is like the factor.
yeah, that
Yeah.
is
Right?
true.
Like
That
if
is
I'm
true.
trying to get myself and my child out of this situation, I would do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
For me, like I'm less self-sacrificing for myself.
I feel like I would just more so just take like more what's that movie? It's one of my favorite movies and only
Enough,
movie.
Gone Girl.
Yes, enough.
I'm so
Enough.
good. I had nothing to go off
Not
of
you,
there.
Chrissy.
Enough.
Oh, it's similar. It's similar though.
That was the best.
Eat
That
it.
was the best. No, enough. Like that's more where I would go. Like I'm gonna like take
Hide
care
in
of
his
this.
rafters,
Yeah.
beat him up.
Not make somebody else a victim.
You gonna make that gym commitment, Hannah?
For my children, of course.
It's for the children. I couldn't make that gym commitment. She kicked his ass.
Yeah, she did. But
Yeah.
it's so badass.
But like
You
Gone
haven't
Girl
hated
was
somebody
like
enough.
the reason I went that direction with Gone Girl is because she was like her process was
Mhm.
cuckoo, but kind of
I never
saying
saw that.
you should check it
I
out.
saw it once and I don't remember all the details. I do know like the twist.
I read the book before, so I liked the book. Okay. Well, anyways, Nina's crazy was intentional. Now she thinks she's free. And we're going to go into chapter 50, which is the last chapter of this section. And it's pretty short and sweet. She's like, that's never gonna happen to me again. I'm never gonna have to go in that attic again. He's never gonna like turn everybody against me or lock me up. And so she's locked out. She's kicked out, but she's like still I need the divorce to happen right now. She goes to her apartment, is just like chilling, and Enzo comes over. And lo and behold, Enzo has had a thing for her this whole time, and they get cozy, but it does not last long
Wait.
oh,
What are you
on chapter 50.
50.
I had 47 through 50, madam.
on? They are in the hotel room. I was like, hold on.
I'm like literally looking at him.
Both.
I was following your very great rendition and I was like, I thought they were in the hotel room when that happened.
No, you're fine. Yeah, they are in the hotel room. They're in the
Gotcha.
hotel room, and then like so they get down and dirty, and we find out Enzo's had a thing for her, and then she goes immediately like, "Well, I'm leaving now, so bye."
Yeah.
He's
And
like,
this is like
"You
all
can't
the-
leave."
Isn't that all the very night that when she got kicked out?
Yeah, this happens
Mhm.
Yeah.
very quickly. Yeah. She's, so she's gone there. She's like, I don't expect you to come with me. This is not what this is, but I'm going to leave. I didn't plan for this to happen. Bye. And he's like, immediately turns. He's like, you can't leave. We have to help Millie. We can't just leave her in the situation. And he's like, well, if you're not going to do something about it, I'm going to do something about it. And that's kind of where they left it. He's going to try something.
Yeah, he kept telling her that he wanted to kill him. And she's like, no, we're going to end up in jail.
Yeah.
And Nina she kind of like was her fake self for a little bit. She's like, she's a criminal. Like, why does it matter?
Mhm.
So, like, I don't know if she's poisoned herself or if she deep down isn't that great of a person. But yeah, I
Just
did
thinks
like
Millie's a terrible person.
Right. She's fine. She deserves it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the end of part 2. And then we're on to the final
Part
section.
3.
And this is where I pass the baton to Hannah.
To myself. All right, let me grab my notes.
All of the technology now that we have, like I need my
I
iPad
know.
and my computer. And
I know.
No,
It actually kills me.
I took my notes in an itty bitty baby notepad.
Oh, cute.
Oh, I squished mine on these little tiny index cards, and I can't even read my own handwriting. I just like pick up keywords.
Mine weren't even in full sentences, and like all their names is just the first letter. Like,
Yeah. All right. So we pick up chapter 51 right where we left off with Millie getting locked in the attic. And so Andrew's punishing Millie as a lesson for leaving out like 3 books that she was reading. And same as with Nina, Millie immediately is like, this is a mistake. Like he didn't mean to. He must have automatically locked and he walked away and like trying to, which I think we would all probably not assume for the first thing, like, oh, they intentionally locked me in here. So
I'm going to
she's
now.
well, yeah, but
The benefit of the doubt no longer exists.
so yeah, it's like the exact scenario with Nina where she's like pleading, she's let me out, she gets a little crazy. He's like really demeaning, like, I'll let you out when it's time, we'll see type of situation.
Oh yeah, isn't that the
Um,
part where he's like, she goes, "I'm sorry," and he's like, "This is my house." Like, and how could you leave a mess? Aren't you with you being a maid?
yeah,
Like, damn, weren't you screwing the maid?
yeah. So her punishment is basically that she has to lay on the floor with the three books he left in the room on her stomach for 3 hours. And Millie's like, "What? That's crazy."
And I
And
like big, huge butt.
yes, and again, she's pleading, and he's like, "I just told you what you can do, and maybe when you get thirsty enough, you'll do it." So, that's 51, jumping right back into it.
So
Yeah.
one thing I will say though, because like the third book is the phone book, it can't be that big. Like phone books don't even exist anymore hardly. They're
But the
like
ones
this
that do
this big.
exist are big, and they're in like they're near New
I
Who
York.
has a
imagine
phone
it to
book?
be huge.
Well, they used
This
to be
guy.
back in the
They're
day.
big.
Well, and she even goes through each one, and it was the phone book that was like the big honker.
Yeah.
Well, that's my point. Like, where do you even get one of those?
He's probably kept it in his torture chamber, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Kept it up his
With the
sleeve for
bucket?
when this moment was going to arrive. Yeah, so that's another point. Like, she's had to pee this whole time, so that's what she's freaking out about. 'Cause she didn't have pee before
Oh,
she
yeah.
fell asleep, and he tells her about the blue bucket in the corner. Which
Mm-hmm. Dun, dun,
she noticed, but she
dun.
noticed like the first time she went up there, it was like, why is there a bucket?
Mm-hmm.
Now she knows
Why
it's
did
the
she
potty.
leave the bucket in there? Is my thing. Like, what?
It's not her house.
Clearly, she didn't mind leaving the books out in disarray, which I will agree is really kind of rude. Like, how are you going to move my books around? I mean, I wouldn't, put you in an attic for days, but
But she was reading books and she just didn't put them away.
She
which
seems
is
already
rude.
like more combative than Nina was though. Like at this point, like she's already like jumping to
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna mess you
Yeah.
up if you don't let me out here. And she's like trying to lie and already has. So what it took Nina forever to find out that there was a camera in there. It seems like it was not an immediate thing, and
Mhm.
she's already been like, you don't know if I'm lying, and
Yeah.
immediately knows she's
Yeah.
being watched.
It wasn't until like the third day that Nina was in there pulling her hair out or something.
Ugh.
Is that your
Okay,
baby?
so yeah, he's
Oh,
been
I was
really
talking to
sweet
Christy,
today.
but okay, now we know it's
Oh.
Hannah's baby.
Chase?
No, it was Sebastian.
Okay, I was like, I didn't think she was talking about Chase. Hannah's baby. I didn't think she would go there, but I was like, it sounded like a child.
It did.
It is.
Furry one.
A furry child, yes. Okay.
He curled up with me in this tiny chair today. It was the best day of my life.
Well, I thought it was going to be uncomfortable.
No,
I'm
we
glad it was
literally were
good.
like cinnamon rolled. And so I was like, I will fall asleep here as long as he will let me hug him.
Sebastian?
Yeah, he hates
That's why.
snuggles.
I thought you were talking about Asher earlier, that he was the one that made the
Oh.
noise. And I was like, but then the more you talked about it, I was like, she's got to be talking about Sebastian.
Of course, he's my heart. Okay, sorry. Anyways. 52. Okay, so Millie's still locked up. She did use the bucket. She's like, and I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that would be like much worse than a prison toilet.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I have peed in weirder places than a bucket. Like, I would definitely want to stab somebody for making me have to pee in a bucket, but like,
Yeah.
it's not the worst
So
place.
she actually hasn't started the torture section yet. She's really holding off. She's noticed she's got the 3 mini water bottles, and she's still kinda going back and forth, like, "No, I can't do this. This is ridiculous." And then finally she lays down and she starts putting them on one by one. Um, and they're very heavy, and she's just like, "He can't be serious about this many hours." So she's doing it, then he comes back and is just like, "Millie," and then she's like, "I put the books on top of me, please let me out now." And "I told you 3 hours, you've only done it for a minute." So going back to she's trying to, him, he's like, "I told you 3 hours." She's like, "Let me out now." She's obviously, like we said, very angry. She's not handling this well or, wanting to
I like seeing her
bite the
problem
bullet.
solving mind, like, because she has had a bad, like, upbringing or whatever.
Mhm.
She's like, "How can I get out of here?" And I don't
Yeah.
think we really, like, Nina wasn't thinking, like, "Can I get the doorknob off? Can I get the
Yeah.
hinges off?" I liked seeing that aspect of it because, she's a survivor from that.
Mhm. So he leaves her there and she does it. She puts the books on there, after she drank the last bottle of water. And, she's does it for the 3-hour mark, and, he comes back after, like, an hour when she's done, and she's like, "I did it, you asshole. Now let me out." He's like, actually, you were 1 minute short, so you're gonna have to do it all over again." And she's like, "You can't be fucking serious." And he's like, "Sorry, these are the rules." And he's like, "I don't have any water left." And she's like, "That's a shame. Next time you'll have to learn to conserve your water." And she's like, "Next time, this is never happening again." And then Andrew's like, "Actually, I think there will be. You're on parole, right?" So he starts going down the threat train, just like he did to Nina. So then he leaves. And so she does it again. And she's like, "I waited an extra 10 minutes this time just to be sure." And she says, "My belly feels like somebody has been punching me in the abdomen for the last several hours. It hurts so much." Um, so he comes back. He's like, "Excellent job." And he comes into the bedroom with a glass of water and hands it to her. And she questions if it's drugged, just like we've been
Smarter than Nina.
thinking. Yes. Um, but she's like, "Fuck it," and gulps it all down. And then he's like, "I'm sorry," which is just gross. You have to be taught a lesson. When you do something wrong, it's the only way you'll learn. If you had done it right the first time, I wouldn't have had you do it again. So just being gross. And then Nina pulls out, surprisingly, a bottle of pepper spray that she found in the bucket.
Millie.
You mean Millie?
Yeah, he
Oh,
like
sorry.
she gets him to show his phone. I feel like I guess that was a distraction to see like how clear the
Yeah.
image was. And she was like, "Surprise, mother!
Yeah.
Got this from the pee bucket."
Sprays him, and then that ends that chapter.
Yeah, she scoops his phone, which is like the most important part.
Yes.
Yes, so
I was
smart.
like, it took Nina did this for 7 freaking years and never outsmarted him because she was
Nina's like first
so
time.
afraid. Yeah. Yeah,
Which
Millie's like,
obviously the
"Not
pepper
happening
spray.
again?
No,
Bitch, you're stuck in the attic now."
yeah, but Millie had 2 very big advantages that Nina never had, which is the pepper spray and the key.
True.
Yeah.
True. The key.
Like,
Which I'm like, how did she have
nothing.
I don't understand how she had the key on her still. I feel like he would have taken it, but
It was her room.
I'm saying like when
I don't think
she's
he
locked up
knew
there,
that she had a key because
but I'm
Nina gave
surprised
it
she
to her.
has it like on her person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, that's
I'm
what I'm saying.
surprised
She had
he didn't
been
remove
locked
it.
in that room, and she talks about she'd been planning it for hours,
Right.
and it still had
I'm
all
just
her stuff in
surprised.
there.
Okay, I guess because all of her stuff was in there. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
surprised he didn't like abscond it. Like,
No, he
take
took her
everything out.
phone. Like,
Okay.
she was
Okay.
looking for her phone, but like she had already like been packing or whatever,
Okay.
and because
Well,
she even
and to
like
your point,
changed clothes.
I don't think he knew because when Nina was explaining it, like she gave her a key, but
And that was part of her
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. So, yeah. Um, chapter 53, it goes back to Nina and her perspective. So we leave Millie at the pepper spray moment. Picking up Nina, she's talking about, I'll go back to my notes. Sorry.
What's happening?
Just going back to my notes. So Nina had researched Millie's background and had uncovered her violent past. It goes into why Millie was in prison and she had killed a large football player with a paperweight at a party. And it sounds pretty gruesome where
He
she had
deserved it.
probably no, yeah, but I don't think we learned that this at this point, but
Yeah. It says it all at once. Like, they don't really talk too much about it except for
Mhm.
that one
As
section.
in the very first page.
no, yeah, but not Millie's side of it. Yeah. Yes. So he was assaulting one of her friends or something at a party. So she came in to protect her and probably, blacked out as one does and smashed his skull in.
As
So
one does, as you does? Mhm.
no. So she pled guilty to manslaughter to avoid worse charges his family was going after um a sentencing when she didn't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, it said that she, like, crushed his skull. Like,
Yeah.
she didn't
Yeah.
stop. Yeah.
No.
She wouldn't have been able to get away with it probably.
Yeah. And then Nina learns Billy had previous incidents of getting into trouble as a kid and that she didn't hire just any replacement, but she chose someone dangerous and someone that could handle herself. Um, we find out Nina had hid the pepper spray for Millie to find whenever this inevitably would happen. Um, it was obviously her plan all along to use Millie in this manner to get the job done. So, yeah, it just talks about really her strategy behind the whole situation and setting this up.
The last 2 lines there are diabolical. I hired her to kill him. She just doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, 54, Millie takes control. We're back with Millie. She uses the pepper spray. Andrew screams in pain and she takes the moment to escape. Takes the phone, locks him inside, and, Andrew's obviously freaking out with the pepper spray moment. Um, and to note, Andrew's phone is unlocked because he was showing her
Mhm.
the video camera. And that was one of the first things. As soon as she locked him out, she makes sure to disengage any type of security on his phone before it locks back. So
So
she
smart.
definitely, had a plan and she knew what she needed to get done. So
Still, technically,
then,
it would have asked for the passcode to turn that off, but it's a book, so.
right,
But,
right.
he probably has
Maybe
an
this was
Android.
a few years ago before that third, fifth authentication.
True.
Um, so now basically the situation's reversed. Andrew's in there beating on the door, like, you better let me out. And it was like, ah. And she repeats almost line for line everything he said to her, like, oh, I will, just not yet. And all those types of things. That's pretty. Billy's in his phone, kind of making sure she clears anything up. She texts his mom back, so there's no, concern there. Um, his mom's talking shit about Nina and all of the situation. She's like, "Yeah, it looks like you were right about Nina," because they're talking about divorce papers. But so then, Millie goes back up to the attic, and he's like, "You made your point. I'm sorry for what I did." And she's obviously, "Nope, you did a terrible thing to me. You've got to be punished." Um, so she says that he has to do the same activity, but he has to put it on his genitals. So he starts putting the books on top of himself. And at the same time, she's watching in the video the whole time as well, making sure he's doing what he says that he's doing. And He's like, Jesus Christ, once he puts all of them on there. And she says, good, now stay that way for 3 hours.
Yep. I like, so when he's like, already starting to like be really rude about it, he doesn't realize she has his phone. And she's like, oh, but how are you going to call the police? I have your phone. Ah, super rage monster. Like a child.
Yep.
And she went straight into like that same calm condescension that he was using with her and like that he uses with Nina. I don't know. I appreciated this part and how she handles it.
No, I agree. And continues to. So yeah, going into 55, we're just Millie's kind of overthinking the last several months. Like all along, I believe Nina was the crazy one. And I don't know what to think. She must have been the one that left the pepper spray in my room. So she suspected what he was going to do to me, which makes me think he's done it to her, maybe many times. So she's really going through like, was this all an act? Was she ever really jealous? I don't know that she goes the full distance to be like, yeah, she set this entire thing up from the beginning, but she's definitely like, things are not what
She's getting there.
they were made to seem. Yeah. So then she also kind of starts talking about her past and how, um, she had killed the guy that had threatened her friend, but then things were never the same. Her friend would like never look at her again. Nobody understood her. She was always getting into trouble for these things, which were all sexually targeted. So she had, problems at school where she had punctured tires on a teacher that had like basically been like, you're going to fail if you don't do some sexual favors for me. Like every issue she's had that Nina had mentioned has all been derived from, unfortunately, just being a female in this world and her not just living with it like most of us do.
Unwelcome advances will not happen.
Yeah, she will go to prison before you will do.
Yeah.
So most of us fear that type of issue. Millie does not. So then she's, just watching TV. She goes back over. Um, she sees he's just there doubled over and she goes up, how are you feeling? And he's like, what do you think I feel? Let me out of here, you bitch. So he's very obviously still angry. All of the extreme emotions. And she's like, relax. I said I'm going to let you out. And she's like, just not yet, again, which is his favorite line. She said 3 hours, because he said, I did exactly what you said, 3 hours. She's like, 3 hours? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I said 5 hours. Looks like you're
Nina.
going to have to start again.
That's a Nina thing to do.
Yeah. She's like, this isn't a negotiation. And he's scrambling. He's like, I'll wire you $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. And she's just like, nope, I'm afraid not. Maybe next time you should leave the girl you lock in the room with more water so some will be left for you. Because he's complaining about not having water.
We probably shouldn't be laughing about this.
Well,
We
good
absolutely should.
for
He got
him.
everything he deserved.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
is
it
again.
is the consequences of your actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she leaves and immediately Googles how long can a person live without water? And then that's how that
Can't say
chapter
that I wouldn't
ends.
have done the same thing.
Right.
But like, I just don't get this. I understand the situation, like you're upset, but why does anybody think threatening to kill the person if they don't let you out, make them think like I can trust you to
Right.
not kill me if I do let you out. Like
Right.
that's not very well thought out.
No, not especially dealing on this level. Like you're not like kids or siblings fighting. Like y'all are actually capable of some harm.
Yeah. And then he tried to bribe her ass. No.
Yeah, but he's very much the narcissist, right? Like he has
Mhm.
Of
the
course.
Oedipal complex. Like he is alpha and omega
Yeah.
over there.
So 56 is back to Nina. So Nina goes to camp to pick up Cece. pretty much. She's like, she had preemptively planned again. She had packed some extra bags when she had taken her to camp and left them in her trunk, hoping this would all happen when it did. So she already had their gear ready to go. She's like, Cece, where do you want to go? Anywhere. She's like, Disney World. She's like, okay, you got it. Like, go get your stuff. She gets a call from Enzo at the same time. And Enzo's like, Millie has not left the house in 3 days. And she's like, how do you know? And he's like, I marked her tires.
It's smart. Like, it's a simple
Yeah,
thing too.
he's dedicated for sure. And so they're going back and forth on, Nina's like, I'm leaving. Sorry, gotta get out of here. And just like, we can't do this. Like, you're the only one that can come in with a key. If I go in, I'm gonna go to jail, blah, blah, blah. And finally, she's like, fine, but only on one condition. And then the chapter ends.
Yeah, Nina tried to go the whole, like, she did this to herself. She didn't have to do it. And, um, like, she's like, well, Andrew didn't do anything to me until after we were married.
Yeah,
Like, not considering the fact that he obviously, like, this is an itch he has to scratch. Like, he hasn't done this to anybody the whole time Millie's been there. So he's probably just been like an
Yeah.
addict, like, waiting for his moment to lock her in.
No, yeah, but it did at least elaborate more. Like, she thought she would have had more time and been able to like warn her. So
I'll write her a
giving,
letter after the divorce.
yeah, like she didn't think immediately like, here, go torture this new person. She thought she would have some time to somewhat help the situation.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
Crazy pants.
All right, 57.
Disney.
The last portion.
Um,
Things start rolling.
Yeah, you got a filled section.
Ashley, can
um,
you give us a cough too? Make it a well-rounded cough.
I've been
No?
trying to like hold it back. It's like
Okay.
trying to kill me.
Yes, all three of us have to.
Let me just double check we're good on the recording while I'm thinking about it. Okay, we are good. This might have to be our new method, just FYI, guys.
I don't like it.
I would just charge my other headphones. This is
Yeah. All right, 57.
Okay. So we go back to Millie, and she has gone to sleep in the guest room. And we come into the chapter, and she's waking up. And she's like, oh, let me see what he's doing in the room. And she looks on the app, and like she sees nothing. And she's flipping out, like, how the fuck did he get out of there? Oh my God, he's gonna be so mad. He's gonna kill me. And then like she even sees a bird, and she like kind of jumps looking at it on the phone, and she's like, oh, it's just a bird. But then she realizes that he's on the cot and under the covers, but she didn't notice because he was so still. And so she goes to the door, and she's telling him like, okay, are you awake? And he's like, I did what you said. And she's like, oh, well, the camera, I guess, like just didn't cast it. I didn't see it. You're going to have to do it again. And he's like flipping shit. And he like starts taking big steps back. And then he's running full tilt at the door, like trying to ram it and bust it open. He does that a few times very unsuccessfully. And finally, he just kind of like, she brought something in her back pocket, and she slides it under the door, and she's like, I'm gonna let you out. I just need you to do one more thing for me. And she slides a pair of pliers under the door. And he's like,
Dun,
what
dun,
the hell?
dun.
Yeah, like what the hell do you want me to do with these pliers? And she's like, nothing big. I want you to pull one of your teeth,
big deal.
and then I'll let you out. And he was like, are you fucking kidding me? And so he starts ramming the door again, and she's like, oh, this is getting kind of sketch. Like, I wonder if it's going to bust, but doesn't really even budge a little bit. And finally, he kind of sees that she's not going to let him out unless he pulls his teeth out. And so he like falls to his knees, and she says he starts crying like a little baby. And the last sentence of that is, he has no idea this is just the beginning. Like when I read that, I was like, this is her, what do they call that? Like the villain origin story. Like,
Right.
You're right.
No, it sounds about right.
like this is
And
the
that's why
moment.
there are
Like
more
she
books.
is all
Right.
in now. She's making him pull his teeth with pliers.
She's pretty
Yeah.
sure his hand's broken. It's like,
Oh yeah,
he
because
hit
he
it so
punched the
hard.
door.
Yeah. He's crying.
Yeah.
I would be crying too.
I would have jumped out the window by now. I
Yeah.
don't care what floor it's on. These people are crazy.
It doesn't open.
It's glass.
Well, it's also like, okay, while he's sleeping, at least give him some water. Like, did you expect him to
Put a
survive
little
this?
like mouse dish under, little dollhouse dish under the door.
Yeah.
There's a saucer full of water.
All right.
Yeah.
58 is back to Nina. And so the last time we saw Nina, she was trying to pick up Cece from camp or whatever, and she got the phone call from Enzo. So we flash to she's back in town, and we find out that Enzo is taking care of Cece, and Nina is outside the gates of their house, and she's checking Millie's car, and she sees the same mark and is like, she still hasn't left.
Actually, she's like, I don't know if she's left. I don't know if it's in the same place, but I see it. Because she didn't have a reference point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as she's looking at the car, none other than that Trader Suzanne walks up,
Suzanne.
which is the one that she opened up to and then got sold out.
She recently
And
stood her up for a standing brunch.
yeah. And so Suzanne is like poking and prodding and trying to say without saying. Nina finally is like, oh, the rumor is that he kicked me out. Like, oh, that's funny. Absolutely not. And Suzanne buys it. And I guess she just saunters off. So Nina goes up to the door and she's even like ringing the doorbell. Nobody's answer. So she decides to let herself in. And all the lights are out and it's like dead silent. She's calling out for Andrew. She's calling out for Millie. Nobody's replying. She goes through and she looks through every single room on the first 2 floors. There is no one. And she's like, well, there's only one other place to look. So she starts going up the hallway into the attic. And, she gets the creepy vibes, like, somebody's there, but you can't see them. And you decide to run to your car, like that kind of vibe. But so she sees the attic door and she sees there's light underneath and she thinks Millie is in the attic. And she even says, like, under her breath, like, I'm sorry I did this. I'm going to help you, Millie. And she unlocks the attic door.
Would you guys have unlocked the attic door without like a knock? Hey,
Nope.
Millie, are you in there?
Not
No.
a chance.
When she did that, I was like, are you kidding me?
Like, no, I would
Well,
not.
then,
At
yeah.
least, like,
That's all I
even
have to
if
say.
I did, if I set somebody up to kill my husband in that manner, like, before I opened the door because nobody's responding, I would have at least gone back downstairs and gotten a weapon. Like, self-preservation is just not in
not
these
there.
people's
Nope.
vocabulary, apparently. Anything to add before we get to 59?
She's assuming here that Millie failed. And she's going to have her on her conscience now.
Yeah.
She wrong.
Jeez. All right, so 59, we're still in Nina's perspective. She opens the door and she sees that it's actually Andy in the attic. And she looks around and she is just horrified and trying not to vomit by what she sees. And all of a sudden, from behind her, she hears somebody say, hello, Nina. And she turns around, and of course, it's Millie. And
Sorry.
Millie is pointing pepper spray right at Nina's face. And Nina's like, oh God, like, this is not good. Very much treating her like the wild animal. Like, I'm going to just nod and agree and whatever she says we're doing because I do not want to get pepper sprayed again. And Nina's trying to kind of ask her, like, how long has he been in here? And Millie is clearly, like, the way they describe it, like, she's clearly in some state of shock because she's like, 5 days, 6
I
maybe.
don't know what happened. Like, what went from that day with the teeth to him being
Yeah.
in there that long? And, like, what used to be Andy is how Nina describes what she sees when she walks in
So
the room.
I think she made him pull one each of those days. Like, every time he finally got the courage to pull a tooth, she would say it again. because it says later in the chapter that he pulled 4 teeth,
Okay. One day.
which she was in the thing for 3 days when the exchange happened. And so then 4 days, that makes it a week, which is about the time that all that. Yeah. And Nina tells her, like, Millie, he's dead. And she's like, is he? And she's like, do you want me to check? I'll check for you. And she describes what he looks like. He's just like, he's clearly dead. But she goes ahead and checks his pulse, and he's definitely dead. And she notices that's when she notices he's missing many teeth. And when Nina confirms that he is definitely dead, Millie just absolutely like breaks. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to go back to prison for life and all of this. And then that's when Nina does a complete 360 that I was definitely not expecting. I'll give her that. And she's like, no, you're not going back to jail. You need to leave. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I've already been in the loony bin. They're not sending me to jail. Like, I'm going to call the police, say it was me, and they'll put me back in an institution. Like, I can do that. Not a big deal. And she does confirm, like, it was a setup. Like, because Millie's like, did you do this on purpose? She's like, yeah, I did. And that's why I'm going to take the blame. Like, I set this up. And she finally, like, she tells her like 2 or 3 more times, like, you need to leave, like, right now. So Millie's like, sold. Like, whips out of the house. And as soon as she leaves, Nina calls the police. And that's where we end.
Nina's turning point, like with Millie and her making that decision, is like seeing how young she is. Like when she's sobbing and like she sees Cece. So she's like, oh my God, I did this to somebody so young. Got her conscience back. I was happy to see that.
But my only issue with this is that damn Susan.
Suzanne, yeah.
She saw her and saw her car there, which we don't get into, but.
Well, she didn't see Millie, but she did see her car outside that one time, I guess.
Yeah. Which would be right before police show up, which would be a good marker.
Yeah, like not.
But Suzanne is an idiot.
I feel like I should Google how long a person can go without water, because I feel like it's more than that. Like people get lost at sea. No, it's 3.
I think it's 3 days.
3 days.
Because I think it's like 3 days for water, 11 days for either food or sleep, and then something else. Okay. So anything else book related to the narrative, not the details. Okay. So chapter 60, we're still in Nina's perspective, and we break into the kind of the chaos. He's sitting down on the couch and waiting as the police are up in the attic, and she decides to call Enzo and talk to Cece. And, she's telling Enzo, like, no, I'm definitely about to go back to the loony bin. Like, I'm taking responsibility for that. And I'm going to tell them that I let Millie take the week off and she was never here. So then a detective comes downstairs after, she talks to Cece, and Cece's like, you're going to come pick me up, right? She's like, yeah, I'll be there as soon as I can, which that sucks. But, so the cop comes downstairs and he asks, like, so what happened? Like, and he brings up that his genitals were like basically black. And Nina kind of chuckles and is like, wait, you think I beat him up? Like, he's clearly like, what is it? Like 6 or 7 inches taller than her, all muscle. And so the cop kind of like goes in and like is grilling her and talking about all the details and whatnot. And she's still like, no, I gave Millie the week off. He's like, well, talking to your in-laws, they said you guys were getting a divorce and he kicked you out this week. She was like, yeah, I thought he was on a business trip and I didn't know he was up there. And he's like, and you guys just didn't text while he's on a business trip? And she's like, no, we were split up. So why would we? And the cop makes like a kind of offhanded comment, and Nina says, you have no idea what he's like. Lo and behold, he says, I think I do. I've never met him personally, but my daughter was Kathleen, something or other, and they were actually engaged before you guys got married. So now we find out a little bit, like we don't find out details, but he says that after the breakup, Kathleen moved across the country, changed her name, and to this day has not been on a single date with a man. But she won't talk about it or anything like that. And he tells her that he moved to the town a year ago and joined the force there. And he has heard all the stories of like her trying to tell people that he was locking her in the attic and that it was clear nobody was even trying to pretend to investigate. And, his parents held a lot of influence, and then he's like, but not with me. And she's kind of like very taken aback at all of like this turn of events, right? And he makes the comment like, yeah, that attic is very hazardous. It is extremely unsafe and easy to seemingly lock yourself in there on accident. And she's like, kind of looking at him and she's like, yeah. And he's like, and I happen to know that the coroner will agree with me at how hazardous it is. And she just like kind of parrots it back, like, yeah, it's very hazardous. And that's where we um, end on that chapter.
I did like
She's like, I can't believe I'm
go
not
ahead if
going
you
to
would.
jail.
I was just
Okay.
gonna say probably what you were. I liked that they tied Kathleen back into it.
That I was actually gonna that too, but I was gonna say I like that full circle. The first line of the prologue it says, "If I leave this house out, it'll be in handcuffs." And this whole time,
We were
I've
thinking it
really
was
been
Millie.
under the presumption it was Millie.
Yeah.
And
No,
so,
I just went back to reread it
yeah,
to be like, wait a second, did they mess this up?
yeah.
But no,
So
there's no. Yeah.
at the beginning of this chapter, it's the exact same line. If I leave this house, it'll be in handcuffs. So I liked that full circle connection.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I did think it was Millie up until the end.
No,
Like,
yeah.
um,
No, during chapter 50, I literally went back to reread it and I was like, did they mess because the back's kind of messed up.
yeah,
So I was like, they really are not tying this. Like they're forgetting what
Yeah.
they're saying in here. But no,
yeah.
there's no like pronouns or any
Nope.
kind of address.
No indication of who it is.
No, yeah.
And then the other thing that like was a point like pointed out to me or stuck out to me is the detective when he's trying to ascertain like what happened. He says, "So you're telling me a grown man managed to get himself locked in the room in the attic without his phone, even though the room only locks from the outside? And while he was in the attic, he randomly decided to pull out his teeth." She's like,
I couldn't possibly
Yeah.
speculate. It's like, how do you answer that?
but that full
Definitely if she
circle.
did not have the detective on her side, she would be going to jail.
Oh my God, it was like so much retribution. Like,
Mhm.
oh, by the way, Kathleen Connors. You're like, oh, Kathleen, we were looking on you
Yeah.
we're looking for you on Facebook.
Probably the only one that got away. But
Right.
then still so terrified to not even tell your dad that's a detective that could actually probably do something.
It's like
Maybe
you
she just
physically
wanted
got
to-
away, but did you really? Like your
Yeah.
entire world is
No, for
still
sure. But
wrapped
it's
in
just
that.
like to that
Yeah.
extent. Like she's so messed up.
Or maybe she escaped and like is just afraid of Andrew. Like maybe
No, yeah, and, like
maybe he
blackmail or
never locked her
something.
up. He never got there with her.
Mm.
Right? Nina didn't make it sound like it didn't seem like somebody else had been up there before. From how I was reading it, like she put the scratch marks in the door. And so what I'm thinking is like
Yeah.
Kathleen maybe he was starting to be that way, but
Yeah,
he didn't
hadn't
have
gotten
a hold
the
on her.
full. Yeah,
Yeah.
He
didn't
did
have
So
something
now-
where, I mean, she literally changed her name and has never been able to even
Well,
stand the
yeah.
thought of a
No,
date with
I
a
think he
man.
abused her for sure, but I think like he didn't get to like the attic idea until she probably slipped away and he's like, okay, what do I need to do now? I need to find somebody desperate. I need to find somebody I can hold something over on.
Yeah.
Okay. So the last chapter, it is at Andrew's wake, and it's still from Nina's perspective. And she's just kind of going over, the normal wake monotony. And Enzo comes in, and the night before, apparently, she had essentially asked Enzo to leave with her and go to the West Coast. And he comes in and he's telling her, like, I'm sorry, like, I can't go. But it was like the right kind of no. Um, like he's like, this is your fresh start. Like you get a brand new slate and you and Cece are now free. And she asks Enzo to keep an eye on Millie. And then we learned that like she has not been back to the house. She's already put it on the market. Her and Cece have been staying at a hotel because she thinks she's like, my house is probably haunted.
Well, and what
Which-
a win for Nina because they didn't get no divorce, no prenup.
Yep.
He's dead.
And she does also state that like that mysterious letter that he always said would like appear if he ever just like died or whatever, like that never comes up.
I probably went with his parents' pull over the police department.
Mhm.
Probably. Which, speaking of, the next people to come in are his parents. And she's like, oh my God, this is, like, I think they know.
This part, oh my God.
I was just going to add because we did talk about his dad and we thought he was dead or something,
yes.
didn't
Yeah, like
we?
it
dad is
never had
not dead.
mentioned him. He's just
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it did clarify in here that, like, the dad had, like, had a really bad fall. And that's why they moved to Florida.
What was it? His dad or like his grandpa, like his mom's dad?
It was his dad.
No, his dad.
Oh, I was definitely thinking mom's
Robert.
dad. Time.
Richard Robert.
Robert.
Oh, he had a bad fall.
Yeah.
Oh, Mom.
So,
Have your shit.
yeah. So Nina is, like, internally freaking out, like, oh my God, like, she knows. Like, I can just feel it. So they come up to her and the dad is like super nice and whatnot. She's like, she always liked him. He was always, really polite, never was a dick. And then the mom goes over and she's like fluffing with his shirt and whatnot. And she starts talking about, I always told him to brush his teeth daily. Oral hygiene is important and there's always a punishment for breaking the rules. And to which she then elaborates and even says, like, I try to teach him about punishments by pulling one of his baby teeth out with pliers.
He probably had a freaking panic attack when those
Oh,
flyers
my
went into the
gosh.
door.
telling you.
PTSD.
No.
Well, and think
Well
about it.
deserved.
Remember, like, when he finally gave in after he knew he was going to have to pull teeth, like, he just fell, collapsed, and
Broke.
starts crying. Like,
she didn't
Millie
even know she was
did
breaking
that.
him by doing that.
Yeah. Which she does say, like, he's breaking, but, like, she doesn't quite understand the full
Mhm.
context of that.
One, what a random thing to have him do and for it to be like deep trauma.
Yeah.
The next line, though, the first line on
I
the
know.
last page.
So, and I will.
I
Crazy
know.
bitch.
I
And I
almost texted
quote-
you guys when I finished.
I'm glad you didn't because I
Go-
read this like 4
read it.
hours ago.
Read it, Ashley.
It's such a shame that he never really learned. I'm glad you stepped up and taught him a lesson. We knew Mama
She
Pants was
hated him.
crazy.
Told
She
y'all
She's
it
hated
was
just
the
him.
mom.
psycho. The mom was
told her
doing
it
that
was
shit
the
to
mom.
him.
So then you start feeling bad for fucking Andrew.
We did call that, though. We called
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
he was abused
Yeah.
in some manner,
Well,
probably similar
yeah.
manner. Like he had to be perfect. We
Well,
called
when
that.
they do that one chapter explaining the mom, you're like, oh, it's her.
Yeah.
Because she's
Oh,
like
yeah.
like has all the like the white and whatever, and he's so attached to her. It's like, okay, there's
Also,
definitely
like
trauma
very
there.
like it has to be perfect. You didn't do this, so you have to be punished. When she goes on about the electricity. It's like,
Mhm.
I'm sure you leave your freaking lights on all over your house all the time because you have the money to do it. You're just being
Mm-hmm.
So
wow.
No.
crazy.
It did twist.
Yeah, like I said, enjoyed it, and I mean, we still have the epilogue, but I might still read the rest of them. Just
Yeah, like side
Ye-
reads.
yeah,
Please don't invite me.
You could do your single episode. You're
yeah,
still gonna do one of those.
yeah. I haven't been reading besides our books, but yeah, I was
Busy.
thinking that. And if we all read them, or even if 2 of us read them, we can like just do a full book review instead of like
I
a
like that. I guess if you would deem so, like put a comment on here and say if you would like for us to do
Absolutely.
individual entire book reviews because you love our sparkling personalities.
I will not be doing that.
much. It'll be a Chrissy and Hannah segment.
Yeah. I will not be doing that. Okay. Before we
Speaking
get
of
too
the
far
next
off
book.
topic, no, we have to do the epilogue.
No, I'm saying speaking
that's
of
what
the
she
next
means.
books. Yeah, like this kind of
Oh,
leads.
I was
The epilogue
like,
leads
I'm not
into the.
reading this next one. Jeez. Okay. The epilogue is back to Millie, and she is doing an interview to be a housemaid. And it's another rich lady, and the lady's like, oh yeah, and Nina highly recommended you. Like, and she puts all this emphasis on it. And Millie's like, okay, well, that's kind of odd, but okay. And the lady, while she's talking to her, she keeps playing like with the knives in the knife block. And Millie's like, oh, this is kind of weird, but whatever. Well, then she notices as the woman is telling her that Nina is like highly recommended her, she smiles and she's like, I don't know what it is, but something is off about this woman's smile. And you guys, when I read that, like I couldn't even finish the sentence. I was like, does this bitch never learn? Like, oh my God. Um, and then she kind of, the woman stops playing with the knives for a second and she adjusts her arm and she sees finally what's off. There's a bright, dark purple bruise of big meaty fingers on her arm. And Millie's like, oh, now I see. Nina must know me better than even I do because now I understand why I came so highly recommended. And so the woman stops, like, all of a sudden she stops playing with the knives and, like, says, she anxiously asks, so can you help me, Millie? And Millie replies, yes, I believe I can.
Really was like, how and who? Like, where is the housemaid story going?
Right.
And I was not expecting that. Like,
I
she's
wasn't
going to be
either.
like
Wait,
the
time out.
housemaid hitman.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I skipped is that her and Enzo are
Oh, yeah. It does like.
either friends or in some kind
insinuate
of
that.
relationship.
Yeah.
Because he texts her while she's in that interview and is like, they're
See you
absolutely
tonight.
going to love you. Like, you're going to get this job. And then he's like, I'll see you tonight after you get the job. So, like, are they friends? Are they smooshing? Are they, like, what's going
Yeah.
on there?
Because that's a little weird if he just slept with Nina and then he's like,
No, for sure.
What's up,
It definitely,
Millie?
I'm like, it's out. What are you doing?
No, he clearly has white
Rebound.
knight syndrome after he failed to kill the guy that killed his sister.
Rebound.
He's the one that had the opportunity to go with her.
I know. I'm just joking.
But
Wow.
Yeah. I definitely didn't see it ending that way either. That's why I'm like, I think I might read them just because I want to see, because the next book would be completely different vibe because she's going into it knowing.
I think Chris read them. We'll have to ask Kaylee if she read them.
yeah, I will say, like I was telling you earlier, the epilogue is kind of the main redeeming quality in this book for me. Because at that point, like, I support you, queen. Like, yes, absolutely. Got to be a girl's girl. And if you have the capability of removing them from the situation or removing the hazard from their lives, like, I mean,
Yeah. I'm sure
Are we
she'll learn
really
how to
now?
like write a contract for it or something like these are the
Yeah.
stipulations. You got to take
so
the
it's
fall.
like,
Yeah.
look, society's
alibi.
already, we're already in the cauldron of like just absolute no moral trash. So, like, why not? Why not?
I think it surprised me. I haven't read like a thriller in a
Yeah.
while, like that kind of mystery.
Yeah, it's been a while for
thriller,
me too.
murdery. It was a good little change, but I did miss fantasy the whole entire time.
Yeah. No, I would say it's similar. I need
But
more.
that could have been like an airplane book that I, like
right.
I read because I was going on a trip and I picked it up at the airport and like read it overnight, essentially.
It reminds
Well,
me
and I
of
always see
the
this
other
author in the airport.
Yeah. It reminds me of the other series
Your
that
J.D. Robb ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like quick.
I like listening to
reads.
those. Those are actually, I do enjoy those on audio.
Yeah, I think of it
On my
more of just like an
commutes.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's still a very long episode.
yeah, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it takes me a couple of car rides to get through that whole
Yeah.
book. But
No, I mean more just because, like, it is very, like, still small, quick, like, and then there's different stories, right?
mhm.
So, like, you can pick up any of them. Not that
Yeah.
I tried to do it in order. I think I'm at, like, 7 and then I stopped, but
So I'm going to compare binge reading one of like a book this size to binge watching like a season of a show that has like 8
yeah,
episodes.
yeah, like a limited
Yeah, like a little
series.
Yeah.
mini series.
Yeah. That's what I'm Well, I mean, like, I think that's a wrap on The Housemaid, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, I enjoyed it. I will probably read them.
Yeah.
We
I
might
think I
structure
probably
it, we
will
might
too.
not.
I
Yeah,
might even, I have to go on a flight this week. Maybe I'll pick him up and read him.
yeah.
Well,
More
we can
power to
then
you
like
guys.
we actually were proactive and planned out
Yes.
our next books. So we're
Oh,
doing a similar thing where a book that is part of a world, but it's a standalone in that world. So we're not going to read all of these books in this series, but we've got Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. I did a good job. You could tell that I was questioning myself.
well, when I said it the other night, I was like, I'm not saying that.
Maniscalco.
I'm
Sorry,
gonna just
Carrie.
butcher it.
She
Tagline
should have
deception.
done a pseudonym.
Right. Carrie Manny.
Yeah.
Carrie Manny.
Hermione.
Okay, so like the tagline is deception is the most wicked game of all. And I can read the little synopsis. You want me to? Okay, so what we're getting into sinner, villain, wicked. The Prince of Envy has never claimed to be a saint, but when a cryptic note arrives, signaling the beginning of a deadly game, he knows it will take more than a hint of sin to win and save his falling demon court. Demons, riddles, hexed objects, anonymous players, nothing will stand in his way. Though none of his meticulous plans prepare him for her, the frustrating artist who ignites his sin like no other. Virtuous, darling, liar. The trouble with scoundrels and blackguards is that they haven't a modicum of honor. A fact Miss Camellia Antonius learns after one desperate mistake allows Waverly Green's most notorious rake to blackmailer. To avoid a ruinous scandal, Camilla is forced to enter a devil's bargain with Envy, little expecting his game will awaken her true nature. Together, Envy and Camilla must embark on a perilous journey through the underworld. We like the underworld, from glittering demon courts to the sultry vampire realm and beyond, while trying to avoid the most dangerous trap of all, falling in love. I did better last time I read that
Nice.
when I was pitching it to you guys, but I did a good job still. But me.
No, very exciting to get back to some good old schmut.
Yeah. And this one, we don't even have to do very much work. It's broken up into 4 parts. Boom.
Nice.
We say that, but we'll decide
Well,
if it's 4
yeah,
or
we'll
8.
do a page
with the-
countdown. Yeah.
We shall see.
we'll see how it
Okay.
turns out.
I'm excited.
Yes. All right. Well, with that, we will leave you guys and come join us. Next episode, we'll start part 1 of Throne of the Fallen.
Whoop, whoop. Love you,
All right.
sisters.
Love you, sisters.
Bye, guys.